So the other day, I came across this article on The Guardian written by Abby Wilkinson, who's a freelance journalist. And it's titled, Why Not Fund the Welfare State with a 100% Inheritance Tax?
Now you know firsthand that being 6 feet under is not a tax shelter.
And I want to start off with a point that Abby makes towards the end. She says, there's some value in respecting the wishes of the dead. Yes. But why is that more important than social housing, healthcare, or any number of other possible uses for the money? It's natural to want to protect and care for your family, but what about people who don't stand to inherit a penny? Is there any reasons their needs should matter less? We have to fund our state somehow. What makes inheritance tax more objectionable than income tax or VAT charged on essential consumer goods? I love how she asks this last question as if she's not advocating for a 100% tax. Like, what makes it more objectionable than income tax? You're asking for 100%. Could you imagine advocating for a 100% income tax? Yeah, that's called slavery. But first off, I want to reject the premise that this is the wishes of the dead. If someone draws up a will or a trust or an estate plan while they are living, they are declaring their assets while they are alive. It's a decision that one makes while they are alive. So this is not the wishes of the dead, it's the demands of the living. But secondly, she asks why inheritance is more important than social housing, healthcare, and whatnot. Because if the individual is merely a slave to society or a slave to the state, whose property and wealth can be seized by society's whims, then what purpose is there to live in the first place? You know, it's interesting that Abby talks about slavery and being slaves to our biology. Yes, the desire to pass on property to your descendants may be natural, but why should we be slaves to our biology when Abby herself is advocating for slavery? What is the point of living if the individual does not enjoy property rights? Living in a free country where you are free to make your own decisions and live your life the way you please, which includes the right to dispose of your property and of your wealth as you see fit, makes life worth living. Why would I want a state-funded hospital to keep me alive? Why? So I can work for the rest of my life, only to have the state confiscate my estate and my property and my money after I'm dead? If I don't get to enjoy the fruits of my labor, then why work in the first place? Shit, why bother keeping me alive? I also love how she tries to make this about biology. The idea that we should be able to pass on our life's accumulated wealth to descendants is deeply embedded. It appeals to the fundamental biological urge to protect your offspring and propagate your genes. Blah, 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 blah. Yo, look, I don't really give a rat's ass why people pass on their money to their heirs and to their kids and to their family. As long as you earned your money through work and ingenuity and through honesty through the free market, you can do whatever the hell you want with it. You can give it to a charity, you can give it to your kids, you can light it on fire. Do whatever you want with it. You earned it. It's yours. And I don't care if the alleged justification is noble, helping the poor, building social housing, building hospitals, building schools. It's like saying that stealing from a sandwich from a deli is wrong, unless the person stealing the sandwich is hungry enough. In which case, the person's right to eat trumps the deli owner's property rights. Another point Abby brings up is the notion that heirs somehow don't deserve the money because they have not earned it. Alright, let's accept this premise. If people are only allowed to possess wealth and possess property that they have earned, doesn't this defeat the entire concept of welfare programs and government assistance in the first place? If an heir does not have a right to their family's money because they have not earned it, because they have not worked for it, then why does a person have a right to health care or schooling or public housing that's paid for by money that they did not earn?
I don't know.
Abby asks some other absurd questions like, but what if the desires of the dead directly damage the well-being of the living? How is possessing wealth damaging to others? Oh no, you guys, George Clooney has a big house and drives fancy cars that are worth more than my annual income. I'm so oppressed, you guys. And what if millionaires and billionaires, what if rich people circumvent this inheritance tax? You know, what if, say, like a millionaire is they either know they only have 6 months to live because they got diagnosed with cancer, or they're like 87 years old and they know they have a decade at most to live. What if they simply decide to use their money to buy a bunch of land, or buy their kids' houses and buy their kids' cars and just gift money to their kids? What, is the state going to come in and confiscate all of the land that I bought in the last 10 years of my life? Are they going to confiscate all of the land and property that I bought for my family in the last 5 years of my life because I knew that the government was going to come in and take everything that I earned? This article is full of Marxism. Marx advocated for an abolition of property rights, but he also advocated, on top of that, to be more specific, he advocated for an abolition of inheritance in general. And like Marx, Abby is pitting the rich and poor against each other as societal enemies. And again, I'm not calling her a Marxist, but if it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, then it's a duck. And Abby appears to be quacking up a lot of Communist Manifesto in this article, and I find it absolutely outrageous. But I want to ask, I doubt Abby's going to watch this video, but if you are Abby, I have something to ask. Why don't you lead the way? You know, you're a freelance journalist. I don't know how much money you expect to accumulate over your life. You seem pretty young. You look like you probably have at least 50 years in front of you. Go find an attorney tomorrow in Great Britain. Go find an attorney and draw up a will that will state, I want all of my wealth, every last penny in my bank account, I want that to go to the government of Great Britain or the government of the United Kingdom. I want this money to go right to NHS. You lead the way. 100%. You know, I don't know if Abby has kids. I don't know if she has family. I don't know if she has loved ones. But hey, Abby, if you're going to draw up a will and declare your assets for, in case you get hit by a bus or whenever you die, make sure 100% of that goes directly to the British government in some form.